This car is the most honest car you ever see.
It's been a dream ever since I've had it.
The first time I heard that engine screaming, I thought, I gotta have one of those.
For me, the cars have personality.
What's great about a BMW Classic is the community that surrounds it.
When you listen to that, that's why we're here.
Welcome to Classic Heart, the BMW Group Classic Podcast. This is JP, and I'm super excited to have a very cool guest from South Africa, which is Tariq Chip Moosa from Chicanos Customs. And I'm super happy that you join us today, Tariq. And I think we agreed to call you Chip, right?
Yes, Mr. JP, thank you so much for having me. It's truly such an honor, and it's a pleasure to meet you.
Likewise. Chip, tell us a little bit more. Where does the name Chip comes from?
I'm very good at sketching cars and drawing. So one of my friends, very good friend of mine, actually took a photograph of me sketching a door panel and posted it on Facebook. And the caption was, America has Chip Foos, South Africa has Chip Moosa.
Fantastic.
And everyone just started calling me Chip.
I mean, that's a very funny story, and we have to give a little bit of background for those who never heard about Chip Foos. Chip Foos is one of the biggest names in the American hot rod scene. You see him everywhere on meetings, in TV shows. One of his TV shows, Overhauling. But Chip, for me, very interesting is, where is your business, Chicanos Customs, located?
So we are based in sunny South Africa, in Johannesburg.
Yes.
The city we are in is Sandton, and we're very fortunate to be one of the largest custom restoration shops in Africa. Mm-hmm. It's something that I'm really proud of, and it's been a journey starting from a single garage many years ago when I still had a lot more hair on my head.
Does this mean, Chip, that your clients are from all over the African continent?
So we're very fortunate. We've got a few clients from neighboring countries in Africa. So I do work for people in Botswana, Namibia, Zambia. And believe it or not, I've got a few international clients. So I'm currently busy building a BMW 325 IS for a client. The car is going to be shipped over to the UK, which is something I'm super proud of.
Yes.
But we do service Africa.
How would you describe the car scene in Joburg?
We are starting to see a lot more classic BMWs. In fact, the BMW scene is outgrowing the Mercedes scene, the Alfa scene, and other brands. So I would say that it's very up and coming, and we've got a lot of potential.
Where does this status from BMW come from? Because I think even, of course, Mercedes and Alfa Romeo are very important brands, and they also have a certain kind of status. Why do you think especially BMW has taken off in South Africa? Is it because Chicanos is also focusing a bit on BMWs?
I think it stems from, the background of South Africa. And when I say the background of South Africa, back in the day, if you were someone that could own a BMW, again, it's measured as a certain level of success.
Yeah.
And what I'm noticing now, everyone that's around about my age, which was born in the 80s and the late 90s, had this inner child that one day when I'm older, I'm going to own a BMW and I'm going to relive the childhood memory that was attached to having a BMW back in the day. And I think that's a large contributing factor as to why a BMW or the brand BMW is doing so well.
I think, of course, that makes everyone who's a BMW enthusiast very happy.
Of course.
But tell me, Chip, is there something like cars and coffee, which is like a trend all over the globe? Has that also taken off in South Africa?
Yes. So, for example, we've got a car meet that's called Cars and Kicks. Kicks is another word for sneakers.
Yes.
So the objective is you come with your cool car and you come with your cool pair of sneakers.
That's
very, very nice. Then we've got stuff like Cars and Cook Sisters. So Cook Sisters is something, I'm not sure if you're familiar with what a Cook Sister is.
No. Please explain.
It's actually a type of a dessert thing that's very famous in Cape Town amongst the Cape Malay people. So it's a car meet where you'll come with your car and you'll have a cook sister. And, so there's that variation as well. We do stuff like beavers and bunnies.
Yeah.
That's also a bunny chow is a very famous dish from KZN in Durban. So a lot of people attach food with cars because when you eat with people, you're kind of breaking bread and you're bonding with people, you know. So I think that's where it stems from in South Africa.
I mean, that's lovely to hear. And for sure, it shows again what a fantastic melting pot South Africa is.
Indeed.
So diverse, so rich in so many cultures, starting from food over fashion. You know, we also do the car meets with our regional specialties like the Wheels and Weisswurst, which is like also super regional Bavarian. But tell us a little bit more about the car scene in South Africa. What is it like? How do you experience it in your work, or how do you connect it?
So what I love about the car culture is that a lot of people are not afraid to build cars according to their personality. I say this because we obviously do full restoration, nut and bolt restorations. We do custom work as well.
Yeah.
And I find that I've got two classes of clients. I have clients that want to build a car on one end, very original, exactly to factory spec, and that's their personality.
Yeah.
And then you get the other mixture of clients that want to build cars according to their personality. And I'll give you an example. I've got one of my clients that I built a Mark 1 two-door Golf. And because he resides in Dubai, and Dubai is very fashion conscious, I did a Burberry car interior in his car.
Wow.
And then I've got other clients that love colors. Maybe you'll get to find that maybe the guy's wife's favorite color is pink.
Yeah.
He'll say, Chip, I want pink interior. I want to make my wife happy, you know. And that's what I love about South Africa is, like you mentioned earlier, we're diverse and we're not afraid to take risks and expressing ourselves when we build cars.
If we speak about colors, I think we have a very, very nice example also in direct BMW history. Because if you just remember the art car from 1991, the BMW 5 Series from Esther Malangu, I mean, that car looks so cool, so beautiful.
I agree.
And also, the things you worked on, they are very colorful and they're very special. And, and I think we have to speak about one very special BMW E9, which you call Nkabi, right?
Yes. That's one of the most famous cars we've built.
Yeah. So first of all, what does Nkabi mean?
Okay, so Nkabi is derived from a Zulu meaning. So Zulu is a tribe in KwaZulu-Natal, which is in Durban.
Yeah.
So Nkabi means hitman.
Okay.
And the whole idea, if you've noticed, all my cars are named, so we get personalized plates.
Yeah.
So one of my cars is called Celeb GP, the other car is called Puta, the other car is called Ngamla. So they all got personalities. My wife always tells me, it's not the car's personalities, it's all the personalities that live in my head.
Yes.
So I just laugh it off. But it means hitman. So we came up with the concept where if you are building a BMW E9 and it's got air ride, BBS wheels, a custom interior, and you take it to any local car show, because of the car being so scarce and rare in South Africa, you're going to kill the competition.
Got it. Understood.
You know, so that's where the Hitman, one of my buddies actually came up with it. So it's quite a cool name.
And what are the major modifications you did? What makes it so unique?
Okay, so the car is, in a sense, I would say it's very unique for South Africa's BMW car culture, because most of the E9 owners, the most craziest thing that they will do on the car is put a set of aftermarket wheels. Yes. Nobody's done air ride on the car. So when I built the car, I thought to myself, okay, how do we try and build something that's going to be a controversial subject? Because a lot of the purists might not agree with putting air ride on the car, but in South Africa, the stance scene is quite big, and there's more stunt shows than there is actually concourse shows. So the car was
really?
built with the yes. So in fact, we only probably have about 2 BMW concourse shows a year in Johannesburg. But the volume of concourse cars versus the volume of custom stance cars is a day and night difference. So I built the car according to the services we offered. So the type of work we did is I repainted the car in a pearl color. I did a custom Piccadilly cognac interior. We did a set of original BBS RS wheels. We put air ride suspension. We redid all the wood in the car. So there was a lot of chroming that was done on the engine base. So the whole objective was to build a very unique E9 that South Africa and Africa has never seen before.
Wow, that seems like a big thing. And I can tell you, please look for Chicanos Customs, just Google it, and you will find, you will come very easy to the E9. It looks absolutely amazing. We spoke about some events at the beginning, and also you mentioned like Concours events and stance events in South Africa.
Yes.
Do you yourself follow international events like Goodwood, like Pebble Beach Concours, Legends of the Autobahn, all these kind of things? So how do you stay up to date?
So I follow the UK scene closely. I follow the German scene very close. In fact, I've got a few friends in Germany. We actually met on Instagram.
Yes.
And we started following each other, chatting, and we just had a bond. And eventually I had the opportunity to meet them in the UK last year, and we became even closer, So I do follow the guys overseas. I do follow concourse events as well. So anything that inspires me, and I say inspires me because the overseas car scene really inspires us. I mean, you guys have access to cars that we don't have access to. You guys have access to specifications on cars that we've never ever seen in our lives. So it's a motivation factor for us in South Africa. So to the overseas guys, I want to say you guys inspire us tremendously.
You just mentioned it's hard to find or source some cars. Where do you find them in South Africa?
So due to me being in the automotive industry for 23 years, I've created quite a network. I know with 23 years, it might seem like I'm older, and I started when I was younger. But
No, that's okay. You're very young at heart.
I've got 2 gray hairs here, so
Yes,
that's my wisdom.
I have many, many more.
The more gray, the more wiser you are.
That's what they say.
Excellent. So look, to answer your question, look, for me, again, overseas cars are something that we aspire to have. So certain models in South Africa we get that are rare, like the 333 BMW, the BMW 325 IS, the 745 E23 BMW. So there is a network of people that you build over time, where it's come to a point now where I don't go out looking for cars. The cars actually come to me because people know I'm in the industry. So that's how I've been sourcing my cars now currently.
I mean, that's a very comfortable situation, right?
Yes, but you can't buy everything, unfortunately.
No, that's for sure. Shall we speak a bit about Chicanos Customs?
Yes.
So where does the name Chicanos Customs come from?
Okay, so Chicanos Customs actually derives from the movie Blood In, Blood Out. It's a very old school American movie about the Latino, I would say the Latino gangs. So I'm not a gangster.
Yeah.
But I love lowriders. I love air suspension. I love the whole aspect of the Latino community. And also, my wife disagrees with me, but I kind of feel like I do look a little bit like a Chicano Latino person. So that's my alter ego.
Yes.
It's the family bond. It's, it's that whole lifestyle.
How large is the Chicanos family, though? So how big is the team?
So we're just under 30 people. We actually are in the process of recruiting more staff.
Yeah.
So it's a business that has grown from a single garage many years ago to now being the largest custom and restoration shop in Africa. But it was only possible with hard work, dedication, and obviously help from the almighty number one.
I mean, we see in Europe, we see a very, very high demand on skilled people.
Yes.
And so there's more work than we have people. How is the situation in your country?
Exactly the same. Staffing is a very, very big problem for any businessman in this industry. So I'll tell you, America, Germany, the UK, the level of standard and the automotive level was always bigger than South Africa. So your skill levels are different. So why I'm saying this is because most of the trade schools are training staff to go where the automotive industry is going, which is focusing on the newer cars, so they train according to what's required.
Yeah.
What that means is that a lot of the new guys that come out of technical schools and qualified don't understand and are unable to work on the older cars, which is affecting us negatively in terms of skills shortages, So
Yeah.
with that being said, one of my passions is I would love to open a training school one day. I'm grateful I qualified in trim and mechanical. Just out of school, I got an apprenticeship at Nissan South Africa. I've learned upholstery. I've learned how to do car audio. I can paint, prep, primer. So every aspect of a car, I can physically do myself. And I would love to teach and show people. And that's one of my bucket list things.
I mean, that would be fantastic. I just see the name already on the door saying Chip Moosa, Chicanos School of Automotive Artistry.
Oh, I love the sound of that.
No, I think we all would love to see that. I think it's very important to share also from the old foxes that they train the young foxes.
Exactly.
Right? And that
Definitely.
this doesn't get lost. And I think it's very, very important.
100%.
I mean, it's fair to say that BMW has a special place in your heart. And even though you also do great works on other cars, but
Yes.
for you personally,
Yeah.
where did your BMW story start?
My late dad had an E12 518, and I remember being a little kid in the back seat, driving on a fishing trip with my elder brother in the car, listening to the Bee Gees,
Nice.
And that smell of that moment, that's the time when you think life is perfect, there's no stress, there's no worries. And that's where my love for BMW came. My dad was into classic cars. So he owned an old Volvo 122. He owned a Ford Zephyr. He owned a VW hippie van, So there was always some old car connected to a memory with my parents. And also it stems from what a BMW meant back in the day when we were growing up. Again, if you owned a BMW, it was a sign of success. Not everyone could own a BMW, especially with where we grew up, So for me, it was always that inner kid that said, one day when I'm bigger, I want to own a BMW and I want to create memories with my kids so they can pass it on to their kids. And it's a generational thing. And also owning a BMW is a sign of success, and it's a sign of every difficulty and every challenge you went through in your life, you were able to own a BMW.
Absolutely. And what was your first BMW you owned yourself?
I've actually got a picture of it.
Please show it.
I've got some pictures of the first BMWs I've owned. So let me actually show you the first car I've owned, right?
Yes.
I don't know if you can see it.
It's a bit blinding. Describe it, please.
Okay, so this is a old school Mini. It's 1100
Wow.
Mini.
In a cool color. It's blue, no?
Yes, I actually painted it that color. I did a white interior. So this was my first car at the age of 16 and the first car I've ever built. And the first car that taught me how not to build cars, because I did a very terrible paint job. The interior was tacky. I connected sound and the sound on the amplifiers burnt out because I didn't know what I was doing. But this car was my training school, basically. This is where the passion actually started for me in terms of working on cars, So that's quite cool. And then my first BMW I ever owned, I was married at the time.
Yes.
It's an E46 325i Touring.
Yes.
So you can see I added a bit of flavor. I lowered it a bit. I put an M3 CSL wheel. And this was my excuse to the wife to say why we need a cool grocery getter.
Of course. With the famous split window where you can open the window separately
Yes.
to load the car and unload the car.
Yes.
I mean, this is one of my favorite BMWs with my favorite V6 engines.
Absolutely. What an amazing car.
Yes. And you still own it?
No. I actually, so one thing I'm fortunate about is that a lot of my cars that I've sacrificed in my life was sold, and it got me into the next car I wanted. So to show you the next picture, I sold my first BMW, and prior to this, I've owned I could never afford a BMW. So prior to this, I've owned Opels, I've owned Hondas, I've owned a Fiat Uno, so to get to this point, to own my first BMW was a big thing. But this car, when I sold it, it actually got me into my first performance BMW, which was an E46 M3 SMG.
Mega. Wow.
So this was a pinnacle moment for me, coming from a Mini, working in a garage, being able to buy my first BMW and then selling it because I got a crazy offer.
Yeah.
And then being able to buy one of my dream BMWs, and personally one of the best BMWs ever made. And then so I basically had this.
Yes.
And ironically, I sold this car because I got a good offer. So this was my SMG version. And then I was able to buy another one, which was a manual.
Even rarer.
So even rarer. And the mileage at the time was super low. So this was my second BMW M3. And I just fell in love with the cars. And once again, it was truly an honor for me to be able to have worked so hard throughout my life, and being able to be blessed with, the ultimate driving machine.
And it shows really if you strive for your idea and you follow your idea straight and
Yes.
consequently,
Yes.
you will end up in fulfilling your dreams. I think that's the message.
Of course, without a doubt. Definitely, definitely.
I mean, you can be very proud of yourself and also what you achieved.
Thank you.
From the start with the Mini. And we shall not forget you were 16. And I think there
Yes.
are not many people out there who built their own car at the age of 16.
I was that kid that always had Matchbox cars, and I was playing with them. And I always had my dream garage. So again, there's always a little kid inside of us that has that. One day when I'm big, I'm going to buy this car. I'm going to own that car. And I think we still have it. I'm sure, JP, you feel the same.
100%. 100%.
So it's quite cool.
Yeah, but I haven't achieved what you achieved now. So I'm working on this.
Then I'm sure you will achieve it.
I try my very best, but I still have my Matchbox cars.
Nice.
And my Seekers cars and everything, Majorette and all this kind of cars. And I kept them in very good condition.
Amazing.
So I think, Chip, it's time for a little pit stop. And pit stop means we have a very special idea of asking very quick questions to you.
Yeah.
And you will have not too much time to think about it.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Don't be nervous. It's not that bad. Okay. E9 or E31?
E9.
Petrol or electric?
Petrol.
Petrol or diesel?
Petrol.
Driving alone or driving with passengers?
Driving alone.
Driving or get driven?
Driving.
Car sharing or no car?
No car.
Road trip or racetrack?
Road trip.
Stick shift or automatic?
Stick shift all the way.
Stick shift or pedals?
Pedals.
Engine in the front or in the back?
Engine in the front.
Engine in the front or in the middle?
Engine in the front.
Italian design or North American car design?
Italian.
Italian design or German design?
German design.
Sell or keep?
Sell for the right reasons.
Inca orange or Brewster green?
Inca orange. Love it.
A mint condition or enthusiastically driven condition?
Mint condition.
Very nice. That's it. All done.
That's it.
Very nice.
Oh, I hope
Yes.
I passed.
Yes, absolutely. But let's speak about a few of your answers.
Yes.
You said E9 over the E31. Why?
So I've got two E31s in my collection. I've got a CI and I've got an I.
Yes.
And I've got an E9 as well. Personally, for me, what I love about the E9 is what the E9 did for BMW.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so if it wasn't for the E9, your 6 Series, your 8 Series, that shaped that design, you know. So the E9's got heritage, the E9's got history. And I love the root of something, you know. So that's why.
I mean, it's a very, very good explanation, I think, and it's very agreeable. And then you said driving alone rather than driving as passengers. So what does driving mean to you?
So driving alone, because I'm a deep thinker and I have a lot of conversations with myself in my head.
Yes.
I enjoy the long road. I enjoy a car that reminds me of my past, where I was and where I am now.
And you want some quiet and peace while driving.
Yes, yes.
And then you said that you prefer pedals over stick shift. That's
Yes.
I bet that you will stick to stick shift.
I would. It depends a lot on the car. But why I love pedals is because I've owned an SMG E46 M3.
Yes.
And even though the SMG2 gearbox has got kind of a little bit of a bad reputation, I'm one of those people that believe that you got to know how to drive the car in order to enjoy it. And a lot of the bad reputation comes from people not knowing how to drive the car correctly. But once you drive pedal shift correctly, it makes you feel like you're driving a supercar.
But managing pedals is not the easiest thing to do it really right.
Yeah, totally.
It takes some, I think, some experience as well. Imagine you could design and develop a completely new BMW without any restrictions. There's no restrictions, nothing. There's no marketing restrictions, environmental, pedestrian safety, nothing. How would this BMW look like?
I would say that I would go along the lines with giving it an old school look, which is very boxy, very long shark-like. But I would give it modern features and technology of today.
Yes. So like a retro vision in a sense. But what would the car based on? Would it be a touring? Would it be a coupe? Would it be a limousine, hatchback? I
would definitely say it would be based on the M3.
Yes.
You know, I'm an E30 lover. E30 is like, for me, the ultimate BMW. It's a car that gets my heart racing.
Yeah.
You know, so I would kind of do like a E30 with a little bit of modern, different shape on an E30. I love the box shape of an E30. But again, it would be more along that lines, because for me, growing up in South Africa, an E30 is currently the most sought after BMW in the whole of South Africa.
Wow.
And for me, it really, I mean, if we can have a discussion about it, to be honest with you, we've got about 130 cars on our property.
Oh, wow.
47% of the cars on our property is E30s.
You're on the trend, man.
You know, yeah, so it's like E30 equals success, E30 equals you looking cool, that inner child.
Yeah.
So I would definitely say the E30, and I would modernize it a lot on the inside.
Wow. I mean, that sounds like a dream project. And it would be my next question, actually. So what would be the one car you would like to build at Chicanos Customs?
I'm so glad you asked me this question. I've been dying for you to ask me this question.
Yes.
So it's a question where it would be my ultimate car to build, but it's also one of my dream cars. I love an E30 M3.
Yes.
I think if the Almighty had to give us an option of which car we're going to drive in heaven and hell, depending on how good or bad you are, my first choice would be, please, I would love to drive an E30 M3. That's my ultimate.
And is there something in the making, something in the planning?
Look, there is. Unfortunately, in South Africa, there's a handful of E30 M3s that were brought into the country. I think there's less than 15.
Yeah.
We never got them, and that is why BMW South Africa developed the 325 IS.
Yes.
To cater for the racing.
Yeah.
But it's something I would love to own. It is a bucket list car, but I need to sell a few of my cars in order to afford it. And if I am to buy it, in order for me to register it in South Africa, I've got to convert the car from left-hand drive to right-hand drive because you cannot register a left-hand drive car. So it's complicated. Yes, it is impossible unless the car is deemed as a super, super rare classic, and it's very vast. You've got to convince people that are not car people that an E30 M3 is a classic. So it's a bit of a difficult task.
I mean, we wish you all the best of luck that that's going to happen one time.
I hope so. Thank you.
We spoke in the beginning of events, and as we come close to the end of our conversation,
yes,
let's speak about events you have planned to visit. Are there any visits outside South Africa planned where we can meet you?
Yes, so one of the highlights of my life, and you can see how dramatic I am when I'm saying it.
Yes.
One of the best things I've done in my life in terms of automotive car shows is building the BMW E9 in Kabi in a period of 5 weeks, after hours, during load shedding, shipping the car to the UK, and taking in the top 5 out of being surrounded by amazing cars. So that was the highlight for me. It was something I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to attend an international car show and build a car for an international car show. The winning was just a bonus, but it gave me a taste for wanting to do more. So I'm going to be traveling in June to Dubai, to obviously meet a few of my clients and check the car scene out there, attend a few car shows. I'm going to be doing the Gravity car show again in the UK in August. So I'm taking something special. And then I'm busy with something that I've always wanted to do. We're currently busy building a car for the SEMA show in America. So I'm going to be attending SEMA with the car.
Congratulations. That will be amazing.
Thank you so much. There's that little kid inside of me that says, go for it.
Yes, no, absolutely. I mean, that are very nice words actually for ending our conversation. Thank you very much for being so open, Chip.
Thank you.
And sharing everything. And I mean, we are more excited to see more of the South African BMW scene. So thank you very, very much for joining. It's a real pleasure, Chip.
Thanks for having me, and you guys be safe for the love of BMW.
Thank you. And if you like what you listen to, please do us a favor, subscribe to this podcast that you don't miss out any future episode. And if you do us a big favor, then you leave us a 5-star rating. That would be fantastic. That helps us also to grow this little podcast and spread the word. And also a big shout out to all the team, Scenario Studio, Alex and Marcus, who are taking care that we sound right. And then we have Robin from Shot One and Federica, who is our editor. Without them, this is not possible. And of course, not with our guests. So again, Chip, thank you very much for joining tonight.
Amazing. Thanks for having me.
Bye-bye.